Hello, I'm Kathleen Karlsen. Today I'd like to talk about healing mantras. What are healing mantras and everything that comes under how healing mantras work. Mantras have a very ancient history, and some people believe that they started with the ancient Rishis in India. So whether there were civilizations on this earth that were even prior to ancient India is up for question. That's something that I've studied a lot with all of the ancient astronaut theories, and the civilizations around the world. But we will just make the assumption that the current system of mantras began with the Rishis and with Sanskrit. So they were experimenting with the effects of the mantras because they were living in what we might consider an unhealthy kind of environment. They might be living in a cave, they might be living in a temple, but they're meditating for extended periods of time, not necessarily getting exercise, not necessarily getting healthy sunshine, healthy food, etc. So what they were doing was learning how to use sound to stimulate the different systems in their body so that they could keep their hormonal structure strong, their skeletal structure strong, that their muscles wouldn't waste away from sitting for long periods of time and that kind of thing. So what they discovered through their own intuition and through their own experimentation, through listening within and their meditation, was that particular sounds would affect different systems of the body. And a lot of those sounds were then put into the names of the Hindu gods and goddesses. So that's a little bit of a side topic, but the idea is that the gods and goddesses are representing particular vibrations and frequencies. So Hinduism is not really a polytheistic religion, it's actually a monotheistic religion. In other words, there's one God, but there's many vibrations. I think of it personally as like a radio station. So you can tune in to all different frequencies, and each one is going to have their own characteristic. A particular deity is the embodiment of a particular frequency or vibration, and their names are keys to what that vibration is. For example, the goddess Kali is starting with a K, which is a consonant, which is a very hard consonant. In other words, it's a very initiatory sound, Ka. And that is a very strong energy. Those kind of mantras are best done in limited amounts when you are just beginning the process of working with mantras, and sometimes ongoing. So there are softer sounds, and the softer sounds often correlate to softer gods and goddesses. The names actually are a mantra in and of themselves. So Lakshmi, Parvati, Shiva. You could just say the names of the gods and goddesses and you would be getting the particular sounds that are activating different systems. And sometimes those are spiritual systems. They're activating the chakras, they're activating all of the different points in the etheric body, which is then connected to the physical body. So that's sort of the origin of mantras. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.